Our focus of this presentation is the College of Agriculture, Designer as a Humanist, by Caitlin Jessica Angelisa. Humanism is the focus on human values and concerns. We think of humanism as more of a learning method rather than a philosophy. Humanists use experiments and experience to observe the world.
Everything we use in our interior spaces is in relation to the human body. Our spaces conform to us, we don't conform to our spaces. An example is the height of the table and its proportion to the height that the human sits at. The measurements of the chair and the table in combination are designed in relation to the human body. This is applied through the methods of ergonomics and anthropometric. Some of the earliest studies of humanism were done by Leonardo da Vinci. Vitruvius Man shows the human in perfect proportions.
This diagram shows how different aspects of interiors are related to the human body. For example, a cabinet is placed based on the measurements of an average human's reach. This is applied to almost everything in an interior that is well designed.
Living and learning environments are a relationship between what is learned and what is lived. They group people together that share common emotions, values, and beliefs.
Living and learning environments were first introduced in the 1920s. They were developed as students were encouraged to share their ways of doing mathematics, history, science, etc. with each other.
UK is currently making steps towards living and learning communities that cater to specific majors and interests of other students such as first-generation students, arts and sciences wired, ROTC, nursing, and etc.
There are 5 different ways people learn. The first one is verbal. People who learn this way put everything into language, such as taking notes and writing in margins. The second way of learning is through visual. Visual learners make pictures in their heads. They doodle, they draw while they talk, and draw to explain things, etc. The next type of learning is tactile learning, which goes hand in hand with kinesthetic. Tactile learners touch things and learn through trial and error, while kinesthetic learners need to manipulate things. The last way of learning is oral. These learners remember everything they have ever read or heard. They study hard, but once they learn something, they know it forever.
Informal learning is learning in situations when it is not intended. Some examples of this are observing others and asking questions. Formal learning is where learning is intended. These are typical education settings, such as lectures and classes. This is only 10 to 20% of what we learn.
Space can be designed to stimulate more interaction between peers. By doing this, all the learning styles are incorporated into the interior, providing students with learning outlets in their living spaces.
As we progress, communication becomes more efficient, universal, and technology savvy, and promotes more integration between peers and classrooms, become more dynamic.
Communication can improve through more video chatting, enhancing methods such as email, texting, phone, internet chat, status posts, etc. As we continue to move forward in technology, voice activation will become more common.
In an interior space, we can use technology to interact with people without being face-to-face. Technology can now be more readily accessible, and projects and ideas can be presented to a group through technology without wasting resources.
Many of the schools in the College of Agriculture had different needs and learning styles. Some of these schools include materials and textiles, veterinarian, forestry, food science, nutrition, landscape, architecture, and equine science.
Some of the resources that are needed for the students of the College of Agriculture are computers, designated space for these, labs, library or a quiet study area, group collaboration area, kitchen for food science, studio spaces for materials and textiles and landscape architecture, garden spaces for nutrition, plotters and scanners for landscape architecture, off-site resources. Off-site resources are needed in some majors, such as interacting with animals, visiting farms, etc.
This can be incorporated designing common areas for interaction and private areas for isolation. Along with this, designing a space with readily available resources all in one area would enhance their education opportunities.
Our response question to this research is, how can we design a space that is specific to the College of Agriculture, yet incorporates all of the necessary resources of such a diverse college?